How y'all folks doing this fine day? It's Gator here at the cable company, and I'm so glad you come in to see me today in today's little skit. Today we're going to talk about the Constitution in another form. We're going to talk about the Declaration of Independence. Okay, what got us here? This is an older video that I did years ago. It's going to be a little dark, but it is. I want you to see this for what it is. It's a reading of the Declaration of Independence. I got an original copy of it, and I want you to listen to it real careful, because what's going on right now is the same thing as happening over there with the king and the colonies, okay, back in the day. Okay, the same thing's happening today, and I hope you enjoy this. It's not very long. But yeah, this is the Declaration of Independence in Congress, July the 4th, 1776. Unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America. When in the course of human events, like what's going on now, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, such hey y'all, what y'all doing to me, man? I'm still the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, got right to bear arms, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's what the name of this thing is, this channel. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes disruptive of these ends, FEMA, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Prudence, indeed, will dictate that governments long established should not be changed for light and transit causes, and accordingly all experience hath shown that mankind are more disposed to suffer, while evils are sufferable, than to right themselves by abolishing the forms to which they are accustomed. But when a long train of abuses and unsurpassed nations, pursuing invariably the same object, evidence as a design to reduce them under absolute desperation, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former. In this next clip that you're fixing to see, we're gonna go into detail about every time that I say king in this video, I want you to think about our president. Okay, say president and say government. Okay, every time there's mentioned the king and who is against the king, you think about our government. Okay? Desperation. It is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government, and to provide new guards for their future security. Such has been the patient sufferance of these colonies, and such is now the necessity which constrains them to alter their former systems of government. The history of the present King of Great Britain is a history of repeated injuries and usurpations, all having in direct object the establishment of an absolute tyranny over these states. To prove this, let facts be submitted to a candid world. He has refused his assent to laws, the most wholesome and necessary for the public good. He has forbidden his governors to pass laws of immediate and pressing importance, unless suspended in their operation till his assent
should be obtained, and when so suspended, he has utterly neglected to attend to them. He has refused to pass other laws for the accommodation of large districts of people unless those people would relinquish the right of representation in the legislature, a right inestimable to them and formidable to tyrants only. He has called together legislative bodies at places unusual, uncomfortable, and distant from the depository of their public records for the sole purpose of fatiguing them into compliance with his measures. He has dissolved Representative House repeatedly, proposing with many firmness his invasions on the rights of the people. He has refused for a long time after such dissolution to cause others to be elected, whereby the legislative powers incapable of annihilation have returned to the people at large for their exercise, the state remaining in the meantime exposed to all the dangers of invasion from without and convulsions within. He has endeavored to prevent the population of these states for that purpose, obstructing the law for naturalization of foreigners, refusing to pass others to encourage their migration hither, and raising the conditions of the new appropriations of lands. He has obstructed the administration of justice by refusing his absence to laws for establishing judiciary powers. He has made judges dependent on his will alone for the tenure of their offices and the amount of payment of their salaries. He has erected a multiple of new offices and sent hither swarms of officers to harass our people and eat out their substance. He has kept among us in times of peace standing armies without the consent of the legislators. He has effected to render the military independent of and superior to the civil power. In every stage of the oppression, we have petitioned for the redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of the free people. Nor have we been wanting in attention to our British brethren. We have warned them from time to time of attempts by their legislators to extend an unwarrantable jurisdiction over us. We have reminded them of the circumstances of our immigration and settlement here. We have appealed to their native justice and magnanimity, and we have conjured them by the ties of our common kindred to dissolve these usurpations, which would inevitably interrupt our connections and correspondence. They too have been deaf to the voice of the justice and of consanguinity. We must therefore acquiesce in the necessity which denounces our separation, and hold them as we hold the rest of mankind, enemies in war, in peace friends. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, assembled appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for the rectitude of our intentions, do, in the name and by the authority of the good people of these colonies, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are and of a right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all alliances to the British Crown, and that all political connections between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved, and that as free and independent states they have full power to levy war, conclude peace, contract alliances, establish commerce, and to do all other acts and things which independent states may have a right to do. And to the support of this declaration, with a firm reliance on the protection of divine providence, we mutually pledge to each other our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor.
Well, there you go, folks. There's the Declaration of Independence. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you did learn something, hit that like button. Tell everybody that, we're on, and that helps us with the algorithm. You know that. I don't have to tell you that. But hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I ring the bell every time you hear the Liberty Bell go off. That's for you guys, okay? So I appreciate you joining me, and come on back and see me every week. I'll put out a new video. I hope you had a good time. If you did, hit that like button. Thank you and have a blessed day.